So it's actually, I found a little bit more of an explanation. Well, this is probably about as much explanation as you're going to get. 32V here, which is... This is actually Rochester Cathedral's website. It actually took quite a while to find this page because all the links weren't working. You've got to look through the website to find it. So now this is just one interpretation. So they're saying that they claim that this law is spoil of the slain, probably late 10th century. Well, this definitely is part of the terms of Rochester, which are part of the Laws of Edward collection. So this is what they're saying here. This is what Rochester Cathedral say. This anonymous code fragment forbids the robbery of corpses, possibly Scandinavian in origin, as it uses the term ninding, meaning outlaw. Well, that can be interpreted two ways. Forbids the robbery of corpses. Well, you could read that. You can interpret that as if there's a corpse lying on the floor and you walk past it, or someone's killed someone, you're not allowed to take all their possessions from them, right? Steal their things from them. That's kind of like theft of a deceased person. Or you can read it, the robbery of corpses, as in actually stealing the corpse itself, the robbery of the actual body of the corpse. So the stealing of corpses, the stealing of bodies. So I don't really know how, if you want to interpret that as, bodies that are buried, it's illegal to dig them up and steal them, or if there's a body and someone dies, you're not allowed to steal all their possessions, right? But it doesn't say the stealing of possessions. Wouldn't it say the stealing of possessions from bodies? It doesn't really matter if someone was alive or dead, It doesn't really matter if they're dead or alive. You're still stealing their things, Are you stealing the stealing of things, of possessions? If there's a law that says it's illegal to steal things, it doesn't really matter whether they're alive or dead, does it? With the stealing of corpses. But they framed it here as spoil of the slain. So that's almost like, if you've had a battle and there's, after there's a battle going around taking all the weapons and people's money and everything. Now, they're drawing this meaning from this word here because it means outlaw, just because that word outlaw appears in it. But that sentence ends in the word noble, right, which means prestigious or renowned person. Now, the thing is that they got these other laws which are to do with the value of persons. If anyone killed anyone else, or if they got killed, there was like fines to pay depending on the title and rank of the person, their class, right? That's listed in here. It's called Weregild. Weregild or Weregild, which is to do with a legal value set on a person's life according to rank. So there's actually quite a lot written about that Weregild. The thing is, don't you think the word Weregild, it's almost like, something's gilded. When you have something that's gilded, it's to do with its decorative and ornate artisanry. And if it's weregild, then you're wearing it. It's something that you wear. Although that's the word that we use now for wear, to wear it. But also, when you're wearing something down, you're kind of rubbing it away. But this weregild thing, almost, if you come across a dead body and he was like, clothed and had possessions, almost like a decorated person. You see, when you achieve honours or awards, you wear them, and they're decorated, like gilded, ornamented, gilded items. Like you wear them. That shows decoration and honour, right? So weregild, if that's like a price on someone's rank and class, how would you even identify who they are? If there's a price, and if you kill someone, right, and there's a price on their rank and class, how do you even identify them? I mean, people have a hard time now when they try to find their teeth, like forensics, fingerprints, teeth, hair, DNA. They didn't have that back then. How does anyone even recognise someone? Well, surely if they were clothed and they had expensive items and even the wearing clothes, then that identifies their rank. Now, if you robbed them of their clothing and their things, then you would have a hard time identifying their rank and even who they are. I mean, they didn't have cameraman photographs back then. You'd have to find some of their relatives. I mean, what do you do? I mean, put them on display and let the rest of the village walk past and see if anyone identifies them. Well, although maybe like the lords and so forth are well known, but so it's interesting. We need to draw some associations in this law. So there's a law called Weregild, right? And it's about fines to pay for the death of a person depending on their rank. You can only identify their rank if they're dead by really their class. What happens if they're travelling around the country and they're not in their homeland and someone kills them and then they've got to pay a fine depending on what their rank or class is? Obviously, if the king or someone or any other aristocrat has to come and identify them, even if they recognise them or not. This weregild, wearing of gilded items seems to be quite significant in part of the identification process. This is not tosh. I don't talk nonsense or tosh. I mean, I cannot profess a language degree, but you don't need a language degree. You only need intelligence and intuition and intellect to work that out, regardless of what languages that you have learned or studied. Because, that's why we go to school, to work out how to learn things. So the Weregild, the Weregild, the penalty on killing someone, depending on their rank, the word and name Weregild, is intimately, really connected to or tied into the other law, the Waldreaf, right? It doesn't. Ironically, this VT32V here, this is Waldreaf. It doesn't even use the word. They haven't even actually used the word and the title and opening of Waldreaf or Waldreaf, right? However you want to pronounce it. For this, they've just said 32V is Spoil of the Slain, probably, so he didn't even know for sure, he's saying probably late 10th century. All it says is, this anonymous law fragment forbids the robbery of corpses, possibly Scandinavian origin, as it uses the term Indic meaning outlaw. But he hasn't even used the name, he hasn't even used the word of what it is. And to be honest, most websites, and there aren't many that cite it, don't even spell it properly exactly to how it's spelled in the original text. I think this. I'm gonna break that sentence. I'm gonna translate it myself word for word. The last word is noble. So if it contains the word, you can't have the word outlaw in it and noble together, because it's trying to. this is trying to make out, Rochester Cathedral are trying to make out that forbids the robbery of corpses, possible Scandinavian, uses the term Ndig, meaning outlaw, right? Well, it actually contains the word noble at the end. So I think it's outlawing the robbery of noble or esteemed ancestors, right? Now, the only thing is, does it mean robbing them, just taking their things, or does it actually mean taking the body, them? Because the thing is, if you can't find a body, then how do you know someone's died, you know? And the thing is, what happens if someone gets killed under that other law, and then someone buries them so that no one knows whether they're dead or not? That's the thing. You know, if someone dies and you bury them, then who knows what's happened to them? And someone might just think they've gone missing or gone on a voyage, right? So, that puts an interesting twist on it. In fact, if you've took all their things and their clothes and their possessions, then they might just bury the body naked, you know. But then again, you know, how well are they going to bury them? And all their things, their clothes, might be identifiable to certain artisans, or like we say, you know, like rings and all kinds of things like that. Very particular. If it's expensive items that are quite unique, which they used to have back then, you know, like very, very particular rings or seals or items that would have been very expensive and only certain people make them, then, you know, people are going to start asking where they got it from, and so forth and so forth. A lot of items back then that were valuable were made for particular people and had certain letters or crests or emblems on them back then, which is all your gilding and things like that. So, you know, he's not even putting the name, he's not even putting the actual proper name of it in here. So, I mean, he's saying that, claiming that means outlaw. I might copy that.